we just got off the phone with Tony Hinchcliffe, friend of ours, a good friend of ours, comedian friend who is going through it right now. A clip was released of him being a wild boy. It's wild. We can all acknowledge it's wild. And he's saying some kind of crazy things. And even with the context, the things still come off as crazy.
Yep. It's on TMZ right now.
No, it's not.
TMZ.
Oh, he made it.
Yeah, it's over.
All that time in Hollywood, he had to move to Austin to get on fucking TMZ. Come on, Tony.
Yeah.
So
it's blown up. Yeah,
it's blown up. It's going to be a big story. And obviously, you know, when you have a close connection with somebody, especially a comic, like we got to talk to them before we're going to have a conversation with him about the pod. That's what we've always done. So we just spoke to him. You guys have probably seen the clip. You can see the clip somewhere. We can give a little bit of context to the situation.
Right.
Yeah, where do we begin? I mean, like, he came up, he said some wild shit. I guess the comic that was going on before him, which is also the comic that released the clip, Peng Dang, I think it was the guy's name. They've worked together before.
Yeah, there's been a few times, I guess, where this guy's opened up for Tony. He's like a club feature in Texas.
Exactly. So he's up, and then Tony requested him a second time. There was like a New Year's gig that he was doing with Ali Makovsky, and he requested him. So it's not. So they had a working relationship. They weren't besties or something like that, but they were familiar with each other. They've worked together.
If somebody invites you to come back, you're cool. You're not friends, but you're cool.
You're cool.
We like being around each other. We have some level of friendship.
There was some stuff that he had posted. Opening for Tony. It seemed to be a big deal to this guy. He would tweet out, be like, "Hey, opening for Tony Hinchcliffe tonight. So excited! Great shows." It wasn't like,
I think in his bio, Tony said that like the second line in his bio was Tony Hinchcliffe as a credit.
Yeah.
He's done the Kill Tony show as well. So they have some sort of working relationship. Yeah. So he brings up Tony. Tony says that this is what's called like the secret show. Red Band had a show where they don't announce the guests. So usually Tony's performing for his fans. Now he gets to perform in front of people that may not know who he is, may know who he is.
Which is more of a challenge,
Definitely more of a challenge. Yeah. And I wonder if in that situation, I would make me wilder or less wild. I'd probably be wilder in front of my fans.
Yeah, I'd be way wilder in front of my fans.
Yeah, I think so.
But
I say whatever the fuck I want in front of my fans. Literally anything.
Exactly.
In front of the club, like, jokes that will murder in front of the fans.
Yeah.
Will make people in a club environment
very uncomfortable.
Yeah. They're like this, and you're like, what's going on here? And this is why you need to do both.
Right.
Fans have context. Also.
Fans have context. They know who you are. They know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a really great point.
Yeah.
Because when I watched it, I laughed. Because I know Tony. I know the context of what he was going for. I thought it was funny. And I understand why people are like, what the fuck did you laugh at? And I was like, I know. The same thing with Ari. When Ari got canceled for the Kobe tweet.
Yeah.
I laughed.
Because
I know the context of Ari
doing
it. I know exactly the tone. I know what he was going for. And it was like, the shock and the fact that he would go there is what was funny. And the fact that very few people are willing to go there makes it unique and makes it funny. And if one person laughs, by definition, it's funny.
Right.
So you can't, it's all subjective, obviously. But if you get one person to laugh, and I laughed at Tony, I laughed at what he said.
Here's the thing. The reason why it was so weird for me is, and I was just telling this to Tony, is that I'm used to Tony having incredibly clever bits, right? Like, especially with his roasting, it's super clever. And he just went on, and it was kind of a rant that, I guess within the context of things, like here's this Asian comic that was on before, and he was like making fun of like white people. This doesn't fucking justify it, but he's doing a lot of white jokes. So Tony's like, I'm going to carry that energy, and I'm just going to go on the top of it and trash these white people in the crowd
for laughing,
for being self-loathing and laughing.
Yeah,
right?
He called them race traders.
Race traders.
It's just funny.
He doesn't really think they're fucking race traders.
No, he doesn't really use the word chink in real life. He's not calling people that.
He literally said he doesn't use the word.
Yeah,
he goes, I don't use the word. He goes, I was feeling myself, and I was like, I'm going to just go for it. I regret saying it. It's not something I use. I mean, his best, I don't know if Red Band's his best friend, but like his best friend's girl's Asian.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? So he's probably not dropping that fucking word all the time.
Tony's Tony's a sweetheart of a guy, you know, and this does not come from a hateful place. And I believe that the opener knows that because he does have the context. He knows who Tony is. He knows the brand of comedy that Tony does.
Yes.
So he has all that context. So it's like, dude, if you're offended by something that somebody said, and by the way, even if in the moment he was like, dude, fuck this. He's feeling very inspired. It's Asian Heritage Month. There's a lot going on in the media right now. I'm not discounting the fact that he probably legitimately feels a certain way, but you would think that you would just after the show, be like, Tony, come talk to me for a minute. Like, that actually really bothered me. It hurt my feelings. As a fucking dude.
He fucked up. Like, go.
No, I don't. Listen, I don't know Tony as well as y'all. I know Tony a little bit. I assumed when I watched the clip, just knowing Tony's clever and funny, the joke has to be, this is so over the top racist that it has to be a joke.
That's the joke.
Yes.
If that hurt his feelings, Peng, cool. I understand that. That word could hurt a lot of people's feelings. My best friend is Chinese. It probably hurt his feelings. You talk to him man to man, be like, yo, man, what the fuck is that? But to have that quote tweet and then like passive aggressively be like, happy AAPI month, ! Like, you're cloud chasing.
Yep.
You are trying to use your victimhood as currency. And that shit I do not like.
He chose to go viral. He chose to go viral. He chose to go viral over connection with that person. And he wanted that. And because at the end of the day, like, what does this do? Like, is Tony Hinchcliffe the one that is stopping Asian progress in America? Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand if like President Biden is saying something like this and you capture on footage, you're like, okay, maybe we should showcase this to the world. But I don't know if Tony is the one that's holding down Asian
people. Let me
people.
try to see his point of view. Maybe he thinks this type of shit is just acceptable and funny in the world, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah,
you also know Tony. You've opened for Tony. You guys are on some level cool.
Yeah.
So if he's not some random motherfucker, you can talk to him and be like, bruh, that's a moment for you to teach and actually make an impact. Yeah. You're like, yo, man, if he's like, I never use that word, and be like, yeah, cool. Don't ever use that word. You know what I mean? That's all you got to do. You would talk to him man to man very easily.
You can also have the conversation.
Tony's not an intimidating guy. Tony's not a guy I'm scared to talk to.
Yeah. You can confront him.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You can say, hey, Tony, and Tony seems reasonable to me, like, yeah, my bad.
Yeah. Or he has the debate. Maybe he goes, well, this is, maybe he says, well, this is why I feel like I can use certain words. But at the very least, you have the conversation with another dude. I remember one time I brought up Mateo Lane. Mateo Lane's a brilliant comic in New York. You know Mateo.
Love Mateo. Great body.
Fucking ripped.
Dude, I'll be looking at my Instagram.
I'm telling you,
public.
right?
No, I'm in public with my Instagram. Like, I'll be on a bench and sharing a bench with a few other people. I'm at a fucking clothing store with my girl. It's just me and the other two boyfriends that are waiting for their girls to get changed. And I bring out the Instagram, all these guys on the Instagram, and I'm scrolling through, and it comes up. The first fucking picture is Mateo topless in a Speedo. And I got these other two guys looking over my phone, and they're not even judging me. They're just going, God damn, that motherfucker is stacked.
That man is perfect.
Oh, he really is.
I mean, not for nothing. He's also a sweetheart of a guy,
the best,
hilarious comedian, really talented artist. He's got it all.
He's talented.
He's got it all.
You can't have that good a body and be able to draw.
Thank God he's gay.
Wild.
The guy literally fuck all of us.
It's over. It would be over.
Thank God he's gay.
But I remember one time at the stand years ago, I brought him up.
He's so hot, I'm about to say some racial slurs out this bitch, or homophobic ones or something.
But I brought him on stage. Or maybe when he got off stage, whatever it was. I was hosting a show and I brought him up and I said some ignorant shit. No, I didn't say the F word.
Yeah. Fiat.
I made a joke about something about him having AIDS. It was dumb. It was a bad joke. It wasn't good. It wasn't executed well.
Yeah.
But I went for.
You were trying to be shocking.
I was trying to be shocking in the moment, and it was like it didn't really get a laugh. And it was when I was bringing him up, because I remember just feeling so bad throughout his whole set, being like, fuck, dude, Mateo, like, I don't want, like, because I really like Mateo and I have a lot of respect for him, you know what I'm saying? And I just missed the mark. That's what happened was I was going for something shocking. I missed the mark. And when he came off stage, I was like, dude, I just wanted to apologize because I felt like I shouldn't have said that. That wasn't the right way to bring you up or present you as a comedian. It was the moment. And he was like, dude, I didn't think anything of it. It didn't even register for him.
Yeah.
But that's sort of the way we act, like in the workplace, as men, as not even just men, as adults. If you have an issue with something that somebody says or does, you can approach them and you can say that, and
it was mature of you to apologize.
Of course, yeah.
And it was dope of him to take it that way, but he could also take it another way and you'd be understanding of that. You're like,
course, if he was offended, I thought he would be offended because it wasn't funny. It didn't get a laugh. It was just low-hanging fruit. It was just some dumb shit.
You were going for it. So here's the thing with the Tony situation, which is very difficult, right? Because like comedians, we've set this precedent, like we're not going to apologize for everything, for anything, because we feel a little bit under attack with our material and if we want to stay like crazier jokes. So we're like, I'm not going to apologize. Now, I don't subscribe to that in its totality. Like, if you say something
that you're sorry for,
you could say sorry. Like, you said this beautifully. You're like, yo, you apologize to him. Like, if you feel sorry for hurting his feelings, apologize to him for that. And you could have done that. You did that literally right when you got off stage. Yeah. So it's not like we have this like hard and fast line. We don't apologize for anything.
That's crazy.
Might not have been your joke.
That's a crazy person. Like, I will not apologize. Be like, you are a lunatic.
You're a lunatic. You're a sociopath. Now, if it's a joke that we've crafted for 6 months and we like where the joke is and you're offended, but we don't feel sorry for the joke, you don't have to apologize. Right. If it's something you're just whipping up in the moment, you're like, this might work, this might not work, this is a 50-50 idea, and then it doesn't fucking work, and it doesn't go over, now you're on TMZ, you're all over the place, you can apologize for the part of it that you don't like, especially saying a word that you said to me on the phone, you just do not say, you don't know why you said it in the moment.
I just don't like the idea of apologizing to the public. So apologize to Peng, right? Call him up, and apparently he did call him up and he won't answer his calls, which is such a, like, it's just like, dude, I don't know. Like, if you're offended, what the fuck does the public need an apology? It's not a public issue. You know, this
now it's become a public issue, and yeah, if you want to apologize to the public, you can.
Sure.
I'm saying that's just up to you.
The problem with that, and this is, and I see the picture of Patrice O'Neal right there, and it's almost become a hack point at this point, but it's really true. Like, he made this incredible point when he was defending Don Imus, right?
Yeah.
Where he said every joke comes from the same place, good or bad, right? Yeah. We don't know it's going to be good.
Give
we
us
don't know it's
the opportunity to make something funny.
We have to experiment. Comedians, we go into a comedy club environment sometimes completely blind. We have a brand new bit. We don't know if it's going to work, and we use the audience as a gauge to see if it's good or bad. And it's supposed to just exist in that moment, and then we figure it out. It takes 6 months to figure out if it's really good, and you get it to be perfect. Yep. And it's this sort of like, this song and dance that goes back and forth between the audience. Yep. If you don't give people the opportunity to make those mistakes, you're going to get people taking less chances. You're whittling down the quality of comedy.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. I also think that that's mutually exclusive from apologizing for something that you didn't mean to do or went wrong. Right? So it's like,
but apologizing for a joke in general, when a joke can go wrong. Am I apologizing for a joke going wrong? What if it went right? What if everyone laughed? What if Peng thought it was great? Hold on, let's say the whole audience laughs, and Peng is dying laughing on the side of the stage. Because if he would have called me a spick on that show, in the same exact tone, it was just spick, and it was me, which could have easily happened, which has happened with like other shows. What's her name? Called me a spick on Roast Battle on Comedy Central.
You don't gotta be a snitch, bro. Like,
but I think it was funny. But if I
dude.
freaked out and I took the moment and I tweeted it out and said, "Oh my God, she called me a spick," and it had a viral moment, I could have easily created some. But no, I laughed. I slapped my knee. It was fucking funny. So.
Obviously, there's some like societal issues that are going on now that heighten the severity of this, right? Like, if Stop Asian Hate wasn't a hashtag, if there weren't like Asian ladies getting beaten the shit out of the street on fucking bus stops, then I don't think this would be as sensitive. But because it is the perfect viral moment, and I'm sure that the comedian Peng, in best case scenario, is like really affected and like bothered and triggered by seeing Asian people getting beat up all the time.
Yeah.
And he's probably really sensitive to any Asian racism right now, as I'm sure a lot of Asians are, 100%. That's the best case scenario of him. Worst case scenario of him is he's going, oh, because this is so popping, I could get some clout off of this.
It's probably a little bit of both.
It's probably both.
It might be in the middle.
Yeah.
But I'll give him best case. I'll also give him worst case. The point is, do you, Peng Dang, after knowing Tony and after working with him, truly think that he went up there and believed everything that he said?
No. And you can think, hey, these jokes, it's weird that I've always thought before this, I was like, it's weird you could just shit on Asian people as much as you want to. Nobody ever gets offended.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that like 10 years ago, whatever. If you feel that and that's something that bothers you, cool. That could have affected you. Real quick, all you got to do is talk to Tony. That's the first thing you got to do. Even if you want to put the shit out, you talk to Tony and be like, hey, man, I think this could be a teachable moment. Would you be a part of this, whatever? And then you can say you regret it.
Yeah.
Some shit. Like, there is an opportunity to do it completely differently. He chose to chase the clout.
Yeah, I agree.
I
think the reason people are so comfortable being racist against Asians is because Asian people are so fucking dope at everything they do. They make more money than everybody. They're all doctors and fucking... You go to college.
You can make fun of successful people.
Yeah, you're not really punching down. You're not. It's not punching down. So the idea of like, so now we like... I don't know. I never looked at it as a Puerto Rican. I never looked at Asians as being below me. I was always like, yo, those are the smart kids. That kid's going to go to college. That kid's going to do well in his test. That was always my perspective on Asian kids. Yeah, they were a little bit,
It's a little easier
like if one of my female friends, like white or Puerto Rican chick, started dating an Asian guy, we'd probably make fun of her for it, to be honest with you. But
there's a weird thing, and I don't. There's something called the model minority myth, which has been explained to me because it's put upon Indians, but I don't give a fuck. Something like that puts pressure on us that you think we're all supposed to be successful. That's not fair, that just because I'm Indian or Asian, I'm supposed to be so smart and successful or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you do the same thing to white people and call it white privilege. So I'm not exactly sure. I guess societally it's different, but
people just pick and choose their little crazy theories. Like, I can look for the microaggressions in anything. If I wanted to stare at your studio, I'm like, oh, this is racist against Latinos. Like, what are we even doing here?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Like, but it's people choose their battles. I don't live in a world. Here's the thing. Oh, me and you, all three of us, we chose being comedians as sort of our identity over our racial background, ethnicity, even our gender, our sexuality. I think being a comedian was sort of always, for me anyway, I'm speaking for everybody, but for me anyway, it was always sort of the number one thing. I romanticized, I started comedy 15 years ago. It was such a big deal to be a comedian.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break from this exclusive Patreon clip because we got a big fight this weekend and you need to make some money. That's right, UFC 262, and there's only one place where you're going to bet, and that's at mybookie.ag. Remember, AG. This weekend, you got Charles Oliveira going up against Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson against, I don't know how to pronounce the other guy's name, but it's still a Tony Ferguson fight, so it's going to be fucking interesting. I'm telling you, the UFC has been on an absolute tear. You need to make some goddamn money, so put your money up at mybookie.ag. Why are you going to put your money up there? I'll tell you why. Because if you sign up now and use our promo code Flagrant, you're going to get your first deposit matched up to $1,000, okay? Let him know we sent you. So use our promo code Flagrant, and then you get that free deposit bonus to start your day off with a win. That's a free $1,000 that you also get to bet. More money, more bets, more winning. That's what happens with mybookie.ag. You're going to go do that right now. Also, you can bet on all the other sports that are out there as well. Tons of different bets, tons of opportunities for you to make some money, including UFC 262. So go do it right now. mybookie.ag, promo code Flagrant. Now let's get back to the show.
So I have this thing where I have this mutual respect for every comedian automatically, and society sort of splintered now, and everyone sort of is prioritizing all of these other things, politics, social issues, over this thing that we all sort of we show up at an open mic 15 years ago, and you'd have there'd be a 50-year-old lawyer and some,
I stopped doing that, bro.
What?
I stopped that just because you're a comedian and I respect you shit.
Right. Well, you have to now because
it's splintered. There's so many comedians that are doing stuff that I do not respect, and I love the art so much that I'm not going to watch you bastardize the art. I'm like a terrorist comedian. You know what I mean? I'm I'm ISIS comedy. I'm the most extreme version of it. So when I see it being done in a way that I feel like is disrespectful to the art, I'm like, you're the enemy too. So,
but it almost goes back to that theory of they're still trying, right? And maybe they haven't figured it out yet, but it's we all sort of come from the same place. What are you trying to do,
man? That's what I'm trying to do. Are you just trying to get I see a lot of comics that they should just be pastors, bro. That if religion was more popular, that's what they would do. They want to stand in front of people and they want them all to agree with them and then tell them they're the best. And that's what they want. But there's no role for them in a society that's kind of shunning religion now. If there was, then they 100% would do it. They could go into self-help gurus and this kind of stuff, and those all of a sudden are becoming very popular because people want motherfuckers to just say, hey, you're great, I like the comics that are going up there and confusing you with the premise. I like somebody saying some wild shit and then trying to justify
Prove it comedically, yeah.
Yeah, like that. Or you're going to have some really, painfully vulnerable story. Make me feel some shit I don't want to feel and then make me laugh afterwards about it. And maybe
journey is fun if it's all happy and comfortable. Yeah. That's not a fun movie. There's no movie where all good shit is happening all the time. You're like, yo, that was worth my time.
No, I'm not saying that that's what Tony was trying to do, right? No. But I do know Tony, and I know him to be a good guy. I know him to be a kind guy, and I know his material.
Who takes care of other comedians.
Very well.
We're talking about Kill Tony, and that whole platform has been something that's put on a lot of comedians.
Yeah.
And
Tony, now is the time to come out as gay. Now is if there's ever been a better time, you have to do it right now. Immediately you come out as gay. Okay?
Smart idea.
I think it's got to happen. It might have to be more. It might have to come out as trans.
I remember last time we saw him, he had a girl that he was pretty serious about.
Yeah.
We finna find out if she the one. If she stays with him through this, that's the one.
That's the real
Tony.
one.
That's the one.
I get, but you guys understand what I'm saying. It's in almost like religion, comedy, there are all these parallels with religion, but there has been splinters, and you have these different crowds and these different shows, and there's different material you really just can't do, and the jokes that fucking kill just don't work there because these are people that are too uncomfortable to laugh at things that they feel. They want to laugh at things that they believe the world should be. And I can't subscribe to that type of comedy. I'm fine. You could do it.
Yeah.
That's great. But I'm not going to just automatically give you the same grace as I give a traditional comedian.
That's fair.
Well, maybe I'm calling them traditional, but or the comedian that's of the same like ilk as me.
Yeah. And I agree with you completely. The people that I love, those are the ones that I love. Yeah. You know, and I say this all the time.
We have very similar views on comedy.
Oh, of course.
Like and that's why we're in this room right now.
Of course.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. People often assume that because we said we only like a savage like Patrice, you know what I mean? But no, I could watch comics. Dude, Ryan Hamilton is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Nate
Bargatze.
Nate is so fucking
funny.
funny.
Nate Bargatze is my son's godfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you know, like it doesn't got to be a dirty, filthy,
it's
edgy.
It's not about that. Is this you, dude?
Is it?
Last week we were talking about how funny Kevin James' special was from like the late 90s, like the small stuff. It's a clean special, so funny. You don't have to be a piece of shit, but our favorites are the guys that are gonna make you a little uncomfortable because that
you're not a fucking exactly. You're not a snake oil salesman. There's some fucking snake oil salesmen. They know if they go up there and they're just like saying whatever that crowd feels, that they're gonna get their claps, and that's all they want. They don't care about the fucking art. And maybe I sound like some old wash motherfucker going, "Oh, being back in the day, this is what comedy was," but I don't care. Yeah. That's what I love.
Well, the shit that I like, you know, I talk about a lot of dark shit in my act, and it's like.
You got a lot of dark shit to talk about, bro.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you know, you talk about comedy being therapeutic. It's like to try to like, you know, I talk about my mother being a drug addict or my father being murdered. And it's like, these are things that like, not only do I have to like think about it and talk about it, which is therapeutic in general, just going to therapy, think about it and talk about these things. Yeah. But now I have to try to find a positive, funny spin on these really fucked up things today. And that in itself, it's such a unique way to look at personal trauma. Yeah. So I have a hard time when people don't come to it with balls and don't come to it with a little bit of grit. I have a hard time really getting into their shit, but there's exceptions, like you said.
We all know, like, I don't know, there's the thing. Maybe it seems like we're capping for Tony because that's our homie, and we are biased. That's our homie.
I know Tony's not a fucking... two things. I know biased. Tony's not racist. You need intent, you need context, right? His intention wasn't to be racist. His intention was to be funny. The context was he was at a comedy show roasting the guy that was before him.
We also
he wasn't in a fucking parking lot screaming that word at somebody
also,
that was...
He's not my homie. He's my acquaintance, but I know him well enough to know this wasn't real, and I would think Peng would know the same. Like, you have about the same amount of interaction with him as me. Yeah. And if that affected you, talk to him. That's my point.
Yeah. Even if you don't, and even if you're absolutely furious about it, and maybe you're a little scared to talk to that person. You know, maybe Peng is scared to talk to that person. He's like, I don't know, maybe this guy's not going to let me go up on shows anymore, this, that, the other.
Well, he's not.
Now it's never going to happen, but he's not going to have shows to do in the first place. You were about to say something?
No, I was just listening. Oh. Because I have a different point of view, but I'm thinking about it if somebody came up and introduced me, oh, that nigga that was just on stage or whatever the case is. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to be that, like, understanding. And especially the tweet said, oh, look at how I was brought up last week. So Tony had a week to contact them. I think he now is contacting them because it went viral.
To a devil's advocate, I don't know that Tony knew the guy was even upset until the video went up.
But you saw how after you said the age joke about Mateo, you spoke to him immediately right after the show.
It was different. It was a different thing because, to be honest with you, I think like
it's possible. Can I say something real quick? Isn't it possible Lewis handled it better than Tony?
Yeah, that's also true.
Tony didn't handle it well, but I don't think this public flagellation, whatever the word is, was necessary. That's what I think. Tony didn't handle it well.
And to be honest with you,
if you want to start interrupt, but if you want to go, if you approach Tony and you try to have that conversation, and he's like, "Fuck you, I meant everything that I said on stage."
Bombs away, bro. Bombs away.
But if there's no like basic human interaction and connection, like there's no, hey man, can I just talk to you about this? Shit made me feel uncomfortable, bro. Yeah. Like, bare minimum. Yeah. I don't know. I'm a different type of motherfucker. Like I will talk to you about things, and I don't know. I will talk to you. Even comics, I'll talk to. Like this happened back home. Like if I hear a comic, I don't care fucking how popular they are or how successful they are. Like if they're doing things that I think are like disrespectful to other comics, whatever, and I'm in their face and I've spoken about this, I'm not gonna act like I haven't. Right. I'm not gonna sit at a fucking table with you and act like I haven't. Say, yo, it was corny what you did.
Right.
I'm not gonna check you on some like, yo, let's go outside and fight. That might be a Luis Gomez approach. Right. But I'll just be like, yo, why were you doing that? Like explain it to me because it doesn't make sense to me.
And y'all are better about that than most people. Most people are not as comfortable as conflict as you guys. Even me, not as comfortable. But that is such an other extreme in a way that you wouldn't handle it. I don't think you, Alex, would see somebody say that shit and then not say anything and then put it on Twitter.
Oh, that's true. I would have approached
you would have checked the motherfucker. Like, but maybe you're different than him. But I know you. Yeah. You would have went after. And it might have been a little more aggressive, but like, yo, what the fuck was that about, dude? That was corny. Like,
and that's true. And that's the thing. So it's like we don't know what happened between that week and now.
And well, look, we have to call.
I only know Tony's side, where he said he didn't get reached out to at all, and the guy didn't say anything. Maybe the guy tried. Maybe there's DMs that Tony didn't see.
I would think the way he tweeted that, and I could be wrong, but the way he tweeted that lets me know if he had interactions with Tony, he would have included that in his, hey, let me burn down Tony's career tweet. I tried to reach out to Tony multiple times. He wouldn't even talk to me.
Also, the way he tweeted it and then walked away, no replies, no nothing. Like he was like, here you go. I'll be
mic drop.
I'll be over here.
And in no way are we justifying what Tony said. And Tony doesn't even agree with what he said. Yeah. He's like, I was going for it. It was stupid. I don't use that word.
But I am justifying his attempt to go for whatever he's going to go for.
You can attempt, but you can fail, and you can acknowledge failure.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It doesn't make him a sellout as a comic if he wants to go, yo, I failed in my attempt to make some humor out of this situation. Like, I would never judge him for doing that shit at all. So that's the tricky situation we're in. We don't ever want to stop trying to make jokes. We know that we're going to fail probably, if at best, 8 out of 10 times when we're trying a new joke. Maybe 9 out of 10 times we're going to probably have that fail rate. Sometimes the failures are going to be absolutely massive. So he's aware of that. I wish they would have been able to talk. It just sucks that it's gotten this big because, dude, he got dropped by his agent. Like, I'm not trying to have like a what is it called? Play the violin. You know what I mean? He did say something fucked up. And it really obviously maybe hurt him, and other people get to hear it and they feel hurt as well. But
nobody would have heard it if Peng didn't share it with the world. Nobody would have been hurt by it. It would have been a bunch of people in a club that would have heard it. Nobody was really hurt by it. If Peng was hurt by it, it could have been.
Yo, you're right.
Tweet hurt way like more Asians.
This is exactly. Like 50 people heard it in the club, and maybe those people were hurt by it. Right now, millions of people. TMZ is playing now. How many more Asians feel attacked because they heard a guy? What do you? Mark is wobbling his head. What?
I don't know. I mean, like, I get your point, but like, could you say the same about like videos of Asian people getting beat up? Like, if you put out those videos, are those reinforcing like negative feelings that Asian people feel about?
Yeah, but the intent of the context is physically harming an Asian person versus telling a joke.
100%.
But if people are refusing to acknowledge the context.
What I would also say to that is, how often do we criticize the media for only portraying black people in these negative, stereotypical ways? Like, oh, every time a black person's robbing somebody, you put it on the news, and then now all of a sudden there's this negative perception about black people. So we can't have it both ways. We can't have it, showcasing these acts all the time is a detriment to this one group of people, and then when you showcase this act, it's not. So we have to figure out some sort of balance. And I guess what you were trying to say is the overall takeaway is more people are gonna feel hated when this goes viral than the 50 people in that room when it was supposed to be in the context of a joke that failed. It failed. We're not justifying what's said. If we heard anybody say it outside of comedy, we'd be like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with this person?
Laugh. You laughed.
If I heard anything you said outside of a comedy club stage,
it'd be absolutely
like, all right,
horrifying.
This guy's actually trying to start a hate cult. So we need to stop him right now. But it's you have to have that context, and it's a shame, and that's why with Peng, and I don't know Peng at all, and maybe he's a great dude, but I just, as a comedian, I'm going like, dude, I don't really respect that. Like, you know what he's doing, you know he's going for a joke, you know he's failing. We've all failed at telling jokes, and now you're going to try to hurt somebody. Not only try, you did hurt somebody. You hurt this guy's career. Maybe he hurt your feelings. Maybe your feelings were a little bit hurt in that moment, right? And that could have been alleviated, and maybe you could have taught Tony a lesson, but now you've legitimately hurt this guy's career, his family, his productivity for the future. And I just don't think the punishment fits the crime. That's what.
And it's not like you're going to get anything out of this. It's not like people are going to go, I need a book Peng at the Funny Bone.
Yeah. If anything, people are going to go, yeah, that guy might start some shit.
Yeah, exactly. I take personal responsibility for all this because now comics are posting clips and
but you know what?
If I never told him to do this shit, then he would have never videotaped his set, and Tony could hate Asians in peace.
All jokes aside, I think this is even different than the Ari thing, where Ari put the clip out himself, and so you put that out to everybody. If Tony put this clip out, I'm not standing by it. My only issue is the way this kid handled it. Yeah. That's my issue with this kid. I'm not standing by what Tony said.
Ari, by the way, we had Ari on Legion of Skanks, and we did a lie detector test. We got a really high quality lie detector test, the same one police departments use. Yeah. And we asked him if he regretted the Kobe tweet, and he said no, and he was telling the truth.
Wow. Really?
Wild. He's a savage.
Yeah. He sent me something absolutely hilarious.
Oh yeah,
we can't talk about it. We can't talk about it.
He was like, I would have tweeted this if ever wasn't such
friend. Yeah. That's what he said. Dude, I FaceTimed him afterwards. I literally FaceTimed him at an airport, like borderline crying, laughing at this video. He's a wild fucking boy.
Yeah.
But he's willing to live that life. That's another thing. Like I'm fine being on the outskirts. I'm fine not being in the mainstream thing. I have my fans that support what I do, and it's a specific thing that I do. And we all know him personally, so we can go, that's just, he's a wild boy, is what he did. And then sometimes your wild boy shit goes mainstream, and mainstream people have no context of what the fuck you do.
No.
And this is bad news.
They were like, make a Legion of Skanks TikTok. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind?
We can't even be on YouTube.
Are you crazy? I'm putting out of context clips on TikTok for the shit that we say.
It's always funny when they come after you and they just go to some crazy thing. There's like a baby with a fucking, like a dildo, like a, what are they called? Those baby mannequins, what are they called?
Oh, yeah. So,
doll.
Yeah, or doll.
Yeah.
Doll.
Baby mannequins?
What are they called? You know,
I'm not getting anything from you. You texting this?
I just had a question. So I'm not a comic. I don't know how this works. But if he failed, like you guys said, like you don't agree with what he said.
Yeah.
Should he have gotten in front of it and just be like, yo, on stage, I was going for it and I said something that I regret?
I don't think that he thought this was in and out. We do so many shows, we say so many dumb things. He does a lot of improv. I don't think that this registered as a problem for him. I think in his mind, he just had a moment where he roasted this guy. The audience was laughing. It wasn't bombing. It wasn't like the audience was booing and then he got in trouble. It wasn't the Kramer moment. They were comparing it to the Kramer moment from years ago at the Laugh Factory.
Not at all.
That's not what was happening. It was still Red Band's audience. They were still Tony Hinchcliffe fans. Let's get real.
That's true. Yeah.
They were laughing. If you listen to the actual clip, you do hear people laughing. There was some uncomfortable laughter, but there were people actually laughing. Some people got it. Some people didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think Tony was like, oh, I fucked up, dude. In my moment, I felt bad because I made a bad joke. I looked at my friend. I brought him up. And as a host, to be honest with you, as a host of a show, this is something that's lost in context as well. It's not my job to make a joke on this guy. It's my job to present him to do well, right? If I'm being paid to host the show, it's my job to make put everyone in a good mood up front, be everyone's buddy, and then present everyone and put everyone in a position where they can do as well as possible. It's not my job to fucking roast this guy that's coming up next. Right. So it was my personal standard, and I just kind of felt bad. He was my friend who I thought it was a little disrespectful the way that I did it. I don't think Tony felt that was disrespectful. I don't think Tony was disrespecting Peng. I think Tony was trying to shock the crowd and be funny, and he said the most fucked up thing that came to mind in that moment, and it was a failure in recognizing that this guy's feelings might have been hurt in the process.
Also, it wasn't
and a failure in the bit. Like the bit, he is way funnier than the bit. If you think that's like Tony's funny shit.
No, Tony's way funnier
Tony's
than that.
fucking hilarious. So yeah, it sucks. But I also understand, Al, where you're coming from. What you can only put yourself in that person's shoes, and you would be tight if somebody did that to you. Absolutely. And Akaash, you might be tight too.
Yeah.
I bet motherfuckers have said stuff about you after.
Oh, yeah. And if I have a problem with them, I will say it to them. Or even if I'm a bitch and I talk shit about them behind their back, I'm not putting it online. Yeah. Like the bitch move, to me, the extreme bitch move is I talk shit about that person behind their back.
Yeah.
It's so much further beyond comprehension even to say, like, I'm not going to approach you at all, and I'm going to put it online. And if Tony felt embarrassed by that bit, which I probably would, I would just kind of hold up and be like, dude, thank God that wasn't like a big show and nobody saw it. It was a secret show. Yeah. I don't even want to fucking think about that because that was like, I was wilding. And then you just kind of put it away and hope nobody saw it. Like you fucking trip and fall in public and you look around, make sure nobody saw it. It's kind of like that. Like, all right, well, I tripped and fell in this bit. I hope nobody saw it. And then this guy is filming it. And then why is he filming my set, first of all? Are you filming yourself, bringing me up, motherfucker? Like, no.
Well, maybe he just pressed play on the set.
And then he did a set before and brought him up or something?
Yeah, like he probably...
Passed the mic or something?
Yeah.
Passed the mic. It was probably past the mic.
Or maybe he was the host. And then, or passed the mic, and then it was just like, it was recording, and then as he went back down...
If he was first, here's what makes sense. If he was the host and he recorded his opening, and then... Because you're looking for little clips, and then bring Tony up, you wouldn't have stopped it.
Fair.
Look, it was...
That's my point. Tony probably doesn't want to get in front of it because he's like, dude, thank God that was a small show. Nobody saw it. Holy fuck. That's what I would probably do.
Or he didn't even think about it.
I don't think he thought about it.
Honestly,
Tony, if you know Kill Tony, you know that brand. He was just on Legion of Skanks last week. There's a brand of comedy out there. You don't see it in the mainstream, but guys like Legion of Skanks, guys like Ari, guys like Tony, we say fucked up shit for the sake of saying fucked up shit. And we try to make fucked up jokes, and we try to play within that that world. And that's the brand of humor that I really like.
I don't want you to brand yourself as like as that, because Tony would go, no, I'm way funnier than that.
Yes.
And you guys are way funnier than that. This is just a failure at doing something that's risky.
It happens all the time.
Exactly. These things happen all the time. But we're not going, yo, this is comedy. Because all of a sudden, sometimes like when a joke goes south, right? And then it goes viral because people are like, how could you say this shit? We got to step up and go, hey man, this is just a bad version of what we do. There's great versions of what we do, and you happen to love it because Patrice O'Neal's the fucking man.
Yeah.
Okay? There are tons of these jokes that people think are absolutely hilarious. And then they're fucking bombs. You saw a bomb. The bomb went viral. There's a lot of other societal shit that goes into this stew, and it's really fucked up. You know what I mean? If you're upset at that, you're somebody who's Asian, even if you know the context, you're still upset at, okay, you're allowed to be upset. Yeah. Nobody ever said you're not allowed to have emotions. Like, that's not what comedians say. We didn't say you can't.
I would say don't buy a ticket to see Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah, don't do it.
That's as far as it should go.
Yeah, so he can work on that bit. What up, people? You just watched a clip from our weekly Patreon episode. You can support the Flagrancy. You can support this unapologetic, unfiltered, uncensored content that we drop weekly on our Patreon at patreon.com/flagrant2. You want to go join? You should, because it's the top 10 Patreon in the fucking world. That's right, for good reason. Go check out why at patreon.com/flagrant2. All right, peace.